I turned 40 2 months ago, and I realized that having a simpler and happier life is not about adding more onto your plate, but more about cutting down on certain things. And I'm saying this as someone who has a lot on my plate. I am an entrepreneur running multiple businesses, I'm a dog mom, and trying to live a very active lifestyle. So if I can make a simpler and happier life possible, then sure you can too. So today I am sharing with you things that I quit, most of them even before I turned 40, to get here. And fair warning, some of these is going to sound a little bit insane, especially the first and the second one, but bear with me because they change everything. But if you're new here, my name is Poppy, and this whole channel is me reinventing my life out loud in my late 30s and 40s. So if this is your vibe, then stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. I stopped making pros and cons list when it comes to decision making. This is going to sound a little bit insane because that is what we've been told to do. There's this scene in Sex and the City where Miranda was writing a pros and cons list whether or not she should stay or leave her cheating husband. And the list didn't really help her at all, because some of the major life decisions cannot be made by a list alone. Of course, I might have made a different decision than she did, but that besides the point. So now, instead of making pros and cons, I asked myself one question, and that is, which option would I regret not doing more? And that's it. Because regret is so much heavier to live with than the cons. The cons you can manage, but regret is something that you have to live with for years to come, or sometimes for the rest of your life. You know, all those what ifs, the chance that you didn't take, the things that you wanted to do that you didn't. That small switch completely changed how I made decisions, and it has brought me so much more satisfying outcome. And I apply this to all areas in life, whether that be big decisions or small decisions. For example, when Artemis 2 rocket was launched, which was the first rocket to carry humans close to the moon more than 50 years ago, it happened to be on the same day of my first Spanish course. If I had to make pros and cons list, of course I would have opted to take the course, because that's something that I have been wanting to do. I signed up for the course, I paid for the course. But now, living in the location where I can actually see the launch, I knew which decision I would regret if I was missing it. And that was a small decision, but I also applied it to some big decisions in life. For example, when I was weighing option whether or not I should quit my stable income 9-to-5 job to face the uncertainty of moving country and become a business owner. I knew which option I would regret, so I decided to face the unknown, the uncertainty, and the payoff has been so great. Second one, this is also huge, and that is, I stopped believing every thought that pop up in my head. Our brains are so incredible, but not every thoughts that are produced by our brains are true. We all have thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, and most of them are not facts. They are our interpretations. Our brains are running on autopilot, pullings from patterns, memories, past emotions, and habits. And the thoughts that get repeated most are usually the negative ones, the anxious ones, the self-critical ones, and they keep being pulled up not because they're true, but those thoughts keep being pulled up because they are something that we are very familiar with. And this was huge for me because I used to believe in every thought that came to my head. If there was a negative thought that I messed everything up, I would actually believe it. But now, changing that mindset, instead of believing it, I say to myself, okay, I acknowledge the thought. I am having self-critical thought right now, but that is actually not true. Or when there would be times that I would be having an awkward conversation, instead of judging myself and believing that I was making a fool of myself, I acknowledge the thought, and then I realize that, hey, maybe I'm just having a socially anxious thought right now. You just need to acknowledge it and then move on with your life, and that, I can promise you, will make your life so much happier. I quit letting people telling me what I am supposed to value. Most of the time when people give their thoughts, opinions, or advice, they're not consciously being malicious, but they are giving their advice and thoughts based on their past experiences and their values, and that includes their own fears, their past, and their level of comfort. A friend who's got burned will tell you not to trust anyone again, or someone who is playing it safe will tell you not to take risk, and taking risk is crazy. So in a sense, they're not really solving your problem, they're not really solving your life, but they are solving their own. And if you adopt what they say, then you're putting their limits onto yourself. The area that has been so clear to me recently is actually dating in my 40s. People all around me will keep telling me their worldviews and what they want in their life. They'll tell me that don't take things so seriously, be casual, don't commit, just have fun. And I get where they're coming from. It's coming from a place of care. But I really value my time. So being casual and non-committed and just have fun is just not what I value. Of course, don't get me wrong, no judgment to anyone who does, because we all value different things. If casual is what genuinely makes someone happy and at peace with themselves, then that's amazing. You know, I don't think there is any right or wrong here. But that's the thing, when you let other people deciding what you should be valued, because once you do that, you'll be living their lives and not yours. You'll be living the life that you didn't choose. And for me, I feel like I can't be living the life that I'm proud of if I didn't choose it. I also quit following other people's fitness and diet advice to the T. I think sometimes we forget that all of us is different. We have different background, different build, different genes. We process certain foods differently. And although I believe that the general advice of eat less, move more is still a very great and sound advice, when it comes to really the specific diet and exercise, that is what I'm trying to not follow to the letter. A lot of times, you just have to listen to your own body, because our body is so different from everyone else. For example, I do love the idea of intermittent fasting, and a lot of people have reported that fasting for longer time, like 16 hours, 18 hours, and sometimes having one meal a day, has been working out well for them in terms of the health benefits. And I've tried those, but every time I try to fast for a longer time, I get really dizzy, I couldn't think, and sometimes I felt like I was about to faint. So then I stopped longer fast, and I have been doing small window 12 hours to 14 hours fast, and it's been really working out well for me. So take everything as a grain of salt, try it and evaluate, see if it works for you, and if it doesn't, don't be so harsh on yourself, knowing that your body is different. I also quit acting my age. I don't know who put this label or expiration date on the second that you turn 30 or 40, but either way, I am opting out. I wear what I want. Sometimes I wear a bow, sometimes I still wear shorts, sometimes I wear a crop top. I feel like life is too short to say that I am too old to be wearing something or doing something. Sometimes I do mature things, as we all have to as an adult, and I still do silly things. I think life is all about balancing, and you can do that at any age. And don't let anyone tell you where the limit should be. I know I'm not alone in this next one, but I quit hanging out or spending time with people with toxic energy or playing mind games. And not only because how they make me feel, because that's one reason, but also the bigger reason is that toxicity is very contagious. It spreads like wildfire, like cancer. The more time you spend with those people, the more time you are going to absorb it and think that those behaviors are normal. If they bully another person in front of you, you end up bullying another person too. If they make you feel small, you end up making someone else feel small because you think those behaviors are normal. You'll be carrying the same energy and then you'll be handing it off to someone else. It's almost a law of life. You will become more similar to the people that you spend time with. So I now choose my circle very, very carefully. And if there's people that give me toxic energy, I let them be, but I just don't want to be part of it because I focus so much on being the best version that I can be. I don't want to be turned into the kind of person that bully other people, give other people toxic energy. And that is me protecting myself, which makes my life so much simpler, much more drama-free, and of course, much happier. I also quit comparing myself to people whose circumstances are not close to mine or exactly same as mine. And here's what I mean. I quit comparing my fitness level or my body to people who are 10 years younger, people in their 20s or 30s. Because of course, as we age, our body gets a little bit tired more easily. We might even need to be training harder to reach certain fitness level. And that's okay. I focus on being better a little bit every single day, and that is the only thing I can do. And the same goes with money, resources, or people who seems like they have everything figured out online. We all come from different backgrounds, foundations. We have no idea what other people has been handed. So instead of comparing and feeling behind, look at yourself and give yourself some credit, because I am sure you've come a long way. This is something that a lot of people that I speak to say they struggle with, and it's something that I managed to quit. And that is, I quit living without a sense of purpose. I truly believe that so much of our unhappiness, whether it be our jobs, relationships, situation, usually comes from not knowing what we want, or why are we doing what we're doing? We just go through the motions, go through life in autopilot. So every now and again, I ask myself, is this aligned with my purpose? Is this thing that I'm doing actually matters to me? Do I feel fulfilled doing it? And if the answer to that thing is no, then I stop. And this applies to everything. It applies to people I spend time with, what I do for work, what I do on my free time, how I'm searching for a life partner, the way I'm showing up in person or on social media. If any of these answers is no, I know it's time to change. And I'm not saying that you should have your entire whole life figured out, but we should know our values and our purpose enough that in everyday's decision, we can steer our actions towards those. And this one will help you so much, because it gives you an opportunity to clear out people that might not be fulfilling you. It gives you to clear out stuff that you do, hobbies, things, trying to keep busy for no reason, and it makes room for things that fulfill you. This tip alone will drastically simplify your life and make your life so much easier. If any one of these hit home, do me a favor, leave in the comment and tell me which one you needed to hear today. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.